I am LaMarsha Lewis. Let's talk. I want to talk about, guess who? The Princess of Arizona. Do you know who she is? Let me give you a hint. She's the daughter of the late Senator John McCain. Still don't know who she is? She often goes, my father, my father, my father. Let me give you another hint. She joined The View in 2017 to be the conservative voice for the Republican Party, and her name is Meghan McCain. I bet you already knew that. Yes, let's talk about Meghan McCain, aka the Princess of Arizona, better known as John McCain's daughter. It was on March 24th, 2021 episode of The View where the ladies was talking about Senator Tammy Duckworth had called out President Biden and his administration wanting more Asian representation. And as it had stated, Senator Duckworth said, well, it had been said, well, we got Vice President Kamala Harris, and yes, we're proud to have Vice President Harris, but we want more people of Asia descent. And like always, in the different segments, the ladies give their view on whatever the subject matter is that they're discussing, talking about in that particular episode. And the Princess of Arizona, Meghan McCain, the pure audacity and what she said and how she talked about representation and tried to say, well, should maybe one of them leave. I'm going to play the clip, and I'm going to play the clip that the wonderful, awesome Tiffany Cross, she handled this so professionally, so intelligently, so eloquently. I mean, she put the hammer to the nail. She said it for all of us. So let's listen to Tiffany Cross, and we'll come back and we'll discuss a little more about the Princess of Arizona, John McCain's daughter. So let's start. Okay, let's start. Cross connection.
This morning, I'd like to have a quick conversation about identity politics and a princess called Meghan. Nope. Not that Meghan. Yes. This one. Meghan McCain. McCain decided to chide Senators Tammy Duckworth and Mazie Hirono, who expressed their frustration over the Biden administration's shortage of senior Asian Americans. They initially said they would no longer support many of President Biden's nominees before backing off after receiving assurances from the Biden administration that it would elevate Asian American voices. In response, McCain, whose talent, as far as I can tell, is finding great black hairstylists and benefiting from nepotism, had this to say.
We've only had one Asian American co-host this show. So does that mean that one of us should be leaving at some point because there's not enough representation? We're talking about, is identity politics more important than qualifications of a job?
Yes, one of you should definitely lose your job. I'll give you 2 guesses, but you'll only need 1. So first, not sure if you guys know this or not because she's really shy about bringing it up, but Meghan happens to be the daughter of the late Republican Senator John McCain, but don't tell anyone because obviously she'd never want to bring that up every 5 minutes in lieu of having actual intellectual exchange.
That's my father. 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 My father.
But yes, let's talk identity politics. Feminist writer Barbara Smith was among the 3 women who coined the term identity politics, and the original intent of the phrase was articulating black women's struggle at the nexus of race, gender, and class oppressions. But just like with hairstyles, Meghan, we've watched you take it, twist it, braid it, and lock it so it benefits the warped presentation of your own clumsy and ill-informed thoughts. Now, name me any group that does not bring their identity into the ballot box. When MAGA-donning Trump supporters showed up in droves, how often did we hear the term white economic anxiety? And note how white voters are always given cute little nicknames like Joe the Plumber or soccer moms or NASCAR dads. All of second is identity politics. And when it came to every other voting bloc, we were simply identified by our race, as if these cute little colloquialisms couldn't be applicable to the rising majority of America. Now, let's address this preposterous notion that somehow being a woman of color suggests that you aren't qualified. I actually understand why you may feel this way. Perhaps you assume that a person's ethnic identity may afford them some advantage. It's called projection, when one unconsciously ascribes traits that you don't like about yourself and attribute them to someone else. Like, I don't know, if my only talent was who I was related to, I may assume that everyone else had some similar unfair advantage, you know? But try being an ally instead of an adversary, because just so you know, in 2020, over 11 million Asian American Pacific Islanders were eligible voters, and those who did cast ballots played a huge role in electing President Biden. So the same way spoiled little gun-toting faux Christian narcissists get to make demands of their chosen politicians, so too do those of us who help pave the way for this administration. The latest data we could get our hands on show that Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders are barely 3% of the broadcast media workforce, yet they are the fastest growing demographic in this country and represent nearly 6% of the population. Everyone deserves to see themselves reflected in this space. And as someone who grew up yearning to see my lived experience reflected back to me, and then had to crawl, claw, and fight at every turn to take up space in broadcast media, I simply ask, how dare you? From now on, I hope you speak less and listen more, and take a little time to enjoy this view. We'll be right back.
Kudos to you, sis, Tiffany Cross, because she handled that perfectly in regards to Meghan McCain talking about identity, politics, and qualification. It's sad to know that Meghan McCain actually thinks she's qualified to have that job that she has. Meghan McCain is not qualified. She sits at the table. She's a View co-host simply for one reason only. She's John McCain's daughter. That is why she has the job. She has a seat at such a prominent table that was started by the one and only Barbara Walters, giving women that platform, a prominent platform to of different races, different cultures, difference of opinions, and all of that. That's why it's called The View. The one and only Barbara Walters got with 5 women. Joy Behart's the only still original co-host since it was founded 24 years ago, coming up 25 years when they do the new season, which I believe will be in September. I think that's when the new seasons always kick off is in September. And then you have someone like Aaroness, because she's as most call her, a trust fund baby that of her mother, whose father was prominent in the state of Arizona for owning a beer factory, and he's passed away years and years ago. And Meghan's mother, Cindy McCain, was the heiress of her father's business, and therefore Meghan and her siblings are trust funds to that heirloom that her mother inherit. But she don't really ever give kudos or acknowledgement to her mother. And again, her mother is worth millions. I mean, she's an heiress. Meghan and her siblings are, like I say, benefactors of that. They are trust funds to inherit, or already have, perhaps. I don't know how the terms work, but it's always my father. Anytime you got a clip out there on the internet of you constantly saying my father, really, girl? Again, the audacity alone that you're gonna come and try and call out, say, should one of us leave because of identity politics, and it's not about, you're not freaking qualified. You have an arts degree. I'm more qualified than you, Meghan McCain. Yes, me. I am LaMarsha Lewis. I have a master's degree. I'm more qualified than you, but yet because your daddy was John McCain, you get to sit on a platform that you haven't earned, that you have no merits to. Just like you and your little friend when she was there, Abby Huntsman. And I would like for you all to go out and listen to Roland Martin. He often do his takes on different conversation, and he did a good. Also listen to his commentary about it as well when he talked about Meghan McCain. He even mentioned Abby Huntsman, how a man had said, "Well, we're going to teach her how to be on TV." We saw how that didn't work on The View, and she wasn't any better when she was at Fox News. Just like it had been said, Abby Huntsman comes from a prominent family of politics. Her dad, John Huntsman, then Jenna Bush Hager, that's on with Luna. Is it Luna? Did I say that now? On NBC, because of her dad, George W. Bush. Meghan McCain is on The View. Came from Fox News. All of this because of their parents, prominent people, their dads in politics. They get careers that they haven't earned, but they get the seat at the table simply for being the daughter of this person, John McCain, John Huntsman, the president, George W. Bush. But you got, again, Meghan McCain. That's a clip of her constantly saying over and over repeatedly, my father. Girl, shut the hell up. And then the audacity that you really are qualified. You are not qualified for the seat that you come to sit in every day. And how you are so unprofessional. I like how Tiffany talked about the hair, your hair. You come on TV looking a mess, and you couldn't possibly think that is cute. Perhaps you do because you continue to make yourself. But I guess you're willing to do anything to be trending on social media, trending on Twitter. You said that not long ago. How you often you trend and you get a kick out of it. That's your arise. By trending any means necessary, when most of the time it's because you made a ass out of yourself. Meghan McCain, John McCain's daughter. The pure audacity that you really got in your head and your mind to think you're qualified for the job, or that you earned your job, your seat at the table. Being so rude to everyone, from the moderator Whoopi to your fellow co-host Sonny, disrespectful to Joy. Most parents teach their children to respect their elders. You have none of that. To Sarah, to Anna, tried to get people banned from The View. All those allegations that's been out there about you with Sherry Shepherd. Sherry came on recently and handled you with grace. You tried to allegedly get Karen DuPage, the makeup artist, fired. Allegedly tried to get Anna banned. See, all these little tactics that you do behind the scene. Meghan McCain, John McCain's daughter. And then to have the audacity to talk about somebody's qualification when you're not qualified. You're not qualified. This is what we have to deal with, and how so many people that are truly qualified when it comes to people of color or Asian, as the subject matter was about, not getting that opportunity because they don't have a famous dad. They can't get to go, I'm John McCain's daughter. They don't get to go, I'm John McCain's daughter. Remember the day you did that with Joy? And Joy said, I'm whoever. I don't remember Joy's dad, but to let you know, you ain't the only person. And you are the only of the 7 kids of John McCain that we constantly hear thrown in our face. I'm John McCain's daughter. His first biological daughter, Sydney, we don't even hear from her. But oh, Meghan, I'm John McCain's daughter. And my father, my family, the McCain's, and you have the audacity to talk about somebody's qualification when you yourself is nowhere near qualified. You were given that job, and you should have lost it no sooner than it was given to you. You should have never gotten a contract to sign after that first year of coming on. But here we are still with you, John McCain's daughter, coming on, being rude. Now with these ridiculous hairstyle and ridiculous makeup as if you were a teenager in junior high, not a 36-year-old, a 36-year-old who recently became a mother. You have come back worse than ever. And that's just not me. That's what many people are saying. And then, like I say, how you just rose your head and you slings your hair most of the time, your weave. Like that day you did when you told her, you get paid to listen to me. How rude. How disrespectful. Obviously, your mother, I don't know if she's saying anything to you or not, or maybe she just can't do anything with you. Because like I say, the only parent you ever really seem to recognize is your father, and you haven't respected him because you continue to loathe Donald J. Trump after he has disgraded your father in life and in death, as well as you yourself and your entire family. And how you come on disrespecting President Biden. It's because of Biden that your parents even got together. Then you hear your father on Fox News calling President Biden senile, as if he's running the country, as if he's doing something. He is the president of the United States. And for you to disrespect him the way you have, and he consoled you on national TV when you broke down in regards to your father having brain cancer. It was Joe Biden that consoled you. And then again, I dare you to try and talk about somebody's qualifications when you are not qualified. You sit at the table, you have that amazing job that I believe, because my faith is in God, that one day I'm going to have a platform. I will be a TV talk show host or political analyst. That's the faith, because God has placed it in my heart. But when you got someone like you, the pure audacity to say or question someone else's qualifications, especially if it's based on their race, when you, the little rich white privileged trust fund inherited John McCain's daughter, gets so many opportunities that you're not even worthy of, and you have the audacity to disgrade or try to put down, belittle someone else. I stand with Tiffany Cross and I dare you. It would be nice for you to listen more, but again, we're talking about you, Meghan McCain. That has not seemed to be a trait that you do well. You listen in order to say what you want to say and stick with that little racist Republican narrative. And most of the time, the talking point of that racist, hypocritical husband that you're married to. But yes, I dare you. And you do need to listen, because there are other views than yours, John McCain's daughter, the Princess of Arizona. And this is my commentary, and I am LaMarsha Lewis. Let's talk.